because Vimeo can't seem to get their ish in order and have everything start automatically. So I've got to start things manually. Thank you, Vimeo. Have a ticket open, yet to be closed, yet to hear from anybody. Great service. Great service. So yeah, not fun at all. But the market was fun today. At least I think the market was fun today, right? I mean, Bitcoin's at 86.5 right now, 86,550 and give or take. Ethereum's at 27.96. XRP is at $2.02. If you don't think that's a buy sign for that one, I don't know what to tell you. Solana's at 127.36. BNB is at 826.65. Yeah, we are in insane times. Wow. I'm just looking at where BNB is, looking at where all the coins are in relativity to each other. It's kind of interesting. A lot. Hey, Hutanic, thank you for letting us know that you invested in yourself. Tonight's question, who is going to start trading crypto-focused ETFs tomorrow? Coinbase, Charles Schwab, Ninja Trader, or other? If you think it's other, drop it in the comments. You know what to do. So there has been a ton of news going on, just a ton of stuff, just rocking on, right? Shopify. Today it's Cyber Monday, right? Shop goes down for a few hours. Imagine. Then you've got NVIDIA investing $2 billion in Synopsys to advance AI engineering. Cool. They're making headway. I think that NVIDIA's been in the front, in the lead position for so long that they've forgotten what they should be doing, what they should not be doing. And something that I'm contemplating is, how do they survive going forward? So that's something that's on my mind. Just putting that out there for you. What's the next one? When I think about AI, and it's not just AI, right? It's not just AI. It's seemingly, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but it's seemingly as if companies are not as nimble as they used to be. People are not as nimble as they used to be. I was having a conversation with somebody, and we were talking about how when we were younger, I'm old, when we were younger, invested, one word, that doesn't work, sir. You know the sentence. I had that straight face. You had to learn Microsoft Office. Before then it was WordPerfect, Lotus 123, and then it was Microsoft Office. You had to learn the internet. And yeah, seriously, you needed to learn the internet because it was a two-hop kind of thing, right? You went through AOL and then out to the internet, and it wasn't for a while before you got a browser, whatever that is, and got out to the internet, and you were just dropped onto the internet. And things have changed over years. And I'm sitting back and I'm looking at, just all the new things that are out there, right? Decentralized finance, centralized finance, traditional finance, fintech, artificial intelligence, automation. What else is there? Digital assets in general. And I'm just seeing something. And the common thread just seems to be that people don't want to learn. It's like just a lot of people have just lost their willingness to learn, let alone ability. Right? And when I look at the news now, I kind of overlay that on top of everything. And I kind of go, wow, now that's interesting. And I think about, well, who's forward thinking, who's forward acting? Then I think about, all the CEOs that are selling their shares and insiders selling their shares as well. And then sitting back and just kind of going, how come people aren't paying attention to this? Because everything seems to be, well, AI is taking jobs, AI is taking jobs, and that's why we've got to, let people go, blah, 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 blah. AI is being blamed for everything, and AI should not be the blame of everything. The most AI is going to do is take tasks. Certain tasks will go away. I was reading an article earlier today, and one of the things that the article noted was it's and I think somebody here in the community said the same thing. It's a reset. It is a reset going on, especially in the United States, where, they might feel that we are overly expensive. Before you get your bloomers in a bunch, I want you to stop and think about it. For every one person that you hire in the United States, you could probably hire 3 people in India to do the same job. Now, hold that thought. Don't get upset. Hold that thought. Why are things expensive? Because everything is expensive. Everything is going up. And so with this great reset, what are these companies expecting? That people that make 6 figures are going to make half that? And afford what? I know that a lot of you started looking at me crazy when I started saying there are going to be the wealthy and everybody else. The wealthy and everybody else. Rich? Nah, you're down here with everybody else. So if you used to be rich, you are either wealthy now or you're down here with everybody else. And so what I think about is the idea of people not just straight up not getting it, including the companies that are doing this so-called reset. And the reason why I say so is because you want to reset salaries because it's a bill for you. It's a big bill. You want to cut that bill. But you want to keep increasing the price of things while decreasing the value of things. And that's when you see the level of stupidity that exists up here, because they think that, well, we'll just pay you enough to be able to buy stuff from us. The logic doesn't seem to work. You don't want to lower your prices, and you want to keep decreasing value of things. Don't believe me? Here's one for you that annoys the heck out of me. A luxury car. How many luxury cars do you know still have actual leather in them? Go ahead. How many? Nah. They still use the word leather when it should be pleather, like plastic leather. It's not leather. Very rare are you going to find a vehicle that actually has luxury, that is luxurious, right? Here's something else. We spend a lot of money on food, and what do we get? In the United States, we get highly processed food. Highly processed food. So in the United States, where this reset is happening, we're supposed to continue paying arm and a leg for really expensive food that is highly processed. They don't allow that stuff over there. Excuse me, in Europe? Yeah, no, that's not happening. That's not a thing. I mean, heck, you don't even have to go that far. They don't allow that in Canada. When you go to Canada and you buy a regular bottle of ketchup, it's got a handful of ingredients. You buy that same bottle of ketchup here in the United States, and it doesn't have a handful of ingredients. It's got a whole bunch of chemicals. If you want Heinz, if you want the simplified version of Heinz, the cleaner volume, bottle of Heinz that they sell in Canada, the version over here is called simplified. It's either simple or simplified, simply, something like that. But that's what you have to get from Heinz. And so I'm just like, you've got to be tripping. So I'm just like, how are we going to afford things? So give me one moment. No, it's all right. That's fine. Forget it. So, oh, I forgot to flip the messages from top to live chat. I hate when I do that because then I miss everything. Again, for everybody, tonight's question: who's going to start trading crypto focused ETFs tomorrow? Coinbase, Charles Schwab, Ninja Trader, or other? And if you think it's other, drop it in the comments. We're going to want to have that conversation. Let me just read these comments. Hutanik, I'm looking at your last comment, and I absolutely disagree. That might work for you, but that does not work for everybody else. A lot of people are willing to say, you know what? Like yours truly, I'm willing to say, I'm going to sell that until the market's done dropping. And when the market's done dropping, then I'll buy back in. Right? I mean, the market's down. I mean, the market dropped like $5,000 today, or Bitcoin dropped $5,000 today, like that. What's the percentage from 86 to 126? That's 40 grand. It's $40,000. Okay, that's almost a third. So if you drop 10%, that should have been a trigger. You drop 20%, that's a huge trigger. 30, 40, or $1,000. When you get to 30%, which is about where we are now, you kind of go, yeah, I don't know if I'm going to hold on. I get your point. It's not a loss until you take the loss, but I don't believe in taking losses for that long. I don't believe in really taking losses. I want to minimize my losses as much as possible. So there have been a couple of coins that I've just sold out. It's sitting on the side now. Sorry about the pause. Somebody's coughing. And you just kind of sit there and you kind of say to yourself, well, I'd rather realize the loss and get back in when it's lower. Realize whatever minimal loss I've taken, use that for taxes, whatever, and then let it drop to wherever it is it's going to drop. And when I think the daggers are done falling, that's when I'll get back in, and guess what'll happen? No matter what the loss was over here, when I get back in down here, I'm buying more value. So if I sold 100 over here, I might be able to get 103, 104 down here. That's the difference. So the idea is understand how your risk framework works. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. You have to invest the way your framework tells you to invest. I have one idea. Hutanik has said what his idea is, and there are a few other ideas that are out there as well. But nothing is definitive. My idea isn't the only idea. It's not the best idea. Hutanik's isn't the only idea. It's not the best idea. You need to figure out what your best idea is. The same way that I keep saying that you need to figure out what is your enough. And apparently big business can't figure out what their enough is because, like I said, prices keep going up, value keeps going down. It's hurting our food supply. It's hurting real estate. It's hurting a whole bunch of things that the way it happens is just a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. But if I go to McDonald's and I buy something today and it's not spoiled by the end of the week, that ought to be a hint. That should be like a hint that, yeah, I shouldn't eat that. Forget about the whole pink slime debacle and that hit the industry eons ago. Just think about how is that still alive? How is that still looking almost as if I just bought it? And then that whole Campbell's problem Well, Campbell's owns a lot of different companies, a lot of different products. And then you've got to ask yourself, well, wait a minute, what other products do they own? Products like Prego. And then you sit back and you kind of go, holy moly, yeah. Price goes up, but value goes down. How do they increase the prices? They change the package sizing. That's an old trick, an oldie but a goodie. I was bringing that up the other day. What else do? They just straight up raise the price and blame it on something. And now in the job market, they want to do a reset. Why? Is it because your savings going over to, let's say, India for offshore resources, that savings is diminishing? Because the more you toss over there, the more that market grows, the more those people are going to want more money. And so that savings that you once had starts to change. So you're at a 3-to-1 right now. What are you going to do when it's only 2-to-1? Is your savings there? And then you want to come back here and come back with those kind of prices and be like, okay, so you people in the United States, you're going to have to get paid less. Seems to me like, nah. Seems to me like maybe you should profit less. Maybe you should figure out what your enough is. Also, you got to figure out, well, am I enjoying the proceeds of, crypto going up? Or the business that I bought, the business that I started, my new job. Other companies are figuring out they're enough. People are starting new businesses. People are indeed learning new skills. A lot of these companies are being led by people that really don't have a strategic vision. They run out there and they throw words out there and big ideas, and they don't even have a plan for a plan. They don't even have a concept for a plan. But they're in leadership chairs. How many of you go to work and you just look at some people that are sitting in an office and you just go, how did that person get there? Because right now they don't belong there, do they? And you start to realize, oh wow, things are changing. Things are changing massively. And I come over to crypto and I look at Bitfinex introducing universal accounts and partnerships to enhance their risk management in crypto markets. Risk management. I'm looking at this industry as if it's growing up and becoming more mature. But that's not all. They're saying, oh, you did it like this. Maybe we should change it up a little bit. maybe we should do a better job. Because you guys don't look like you're doing so well. Again, back to NVIDIA. You're sitting in the catbird seat, right? But here comes Google. Cheaper chips. Yeah. Cheaper chips. Dedicated to just doing AI stuff. They're not here to power your graphics card, to do what else. They're doing everything. Everything that you want them to do. New computers coming out, ready to do AI. NVIDIA's got to wake up and kind of go, okay, we better, maybe we're still ahead, but we could be ahead on the wrong track. And some of these other companies are moving ahead on the right track. I brought up the other day that NVIDIA could be looking at a problem. NVIDIA's problem could be that their chips, half the chip when you're doing AI is actually in use. This part of the chip. Google's chip, that whole chip, is dedicated to doing just that. So if you're a large enterprise and you've chosen, you kind of know what model platform, LLM model platform you're going to go with, right? You can buy cheaper chips that are dedicated to this that might actually be able to do more for you. And that's going to have an effect on who's doing what around the world. And I'm not saying this to talk about OpenAI and all that good stuff. I'm saying this about jobs. I'm saying this about efficiency, about us stepping up our skills so that we can make money, so that we can have our money increase our value. Because that's the cycle. You've got to make money to make money. Right? Just saying. Just saying. Something else I was looking at today, I was looking at the world of stablecoins. I know, don't laugh at me. Don't laugh at me. But the reason why I was looking at the world of stablecoins is because RLUSD stablecoin saw a $1.03 billion move to Ethereum. RLUSD, the bulk of RLUSD flows on Ethereum. And that ought to tell you something. What it should tell you is Ethereum is the platform for DeFi. No matter what anybody else tells you, it is the platform for DeFi. So I was looking at 1.03 billion because it says increase usage. I'll get to that statement in a second, Hutanic. So it says it's increased usage. So you know me, I'm petty. So I started comparing RLUSD to USD1. And it had one straight line growth, and that was that $2 billion. That was it. So the initial X amount of money, I think it was like 600 million or something like that. So it's worth about $2.6 billion. RLUSD is at 1.03. PayPal is way above that. What is PayPal? Give me a sec. Control F. PY. PYUSD is at $3.8 billion. And then you start to realize, holy moly, the coins are already moving in such a way that demonstrate these coins are going to be there and those coins are not. Look at the work that it took for PYUSD to get to 3.8. Look at the work that it took for RLUSD to get to 1 billion. Those coins are moving. Those coins have things going on. When I look at USD1, it had one thing that happened. That was it. That was it. So when is that one going to go away? I don't think you're going to see mergers and acquisitions happen in the stablecoin space, by the way. I was thinking about that. I don't think that's going to happen. They'll just go away and those people will simply move to other stablecoins. That's not a business you buy. There's nothing that you do that nobody else can do. It's just a stablecoin. I don't need your customers. They're gonna come to us anyway. So we don't care about that. So you'll just wither away and die. So there are certain coins that I'm looking at and I'm like, yeah, you're gonna wither away and die. No doubt. No doubt about it. And there'll be a handful of coins that will just be here. Those will be the ones that will exist going forward. Hutanic, I think you're absolutely wrong. I don't think you have a foundation in the space for talking about AI needing privacy blockchain rails before it makes the adoption curve. No. I think you're wrong with that. We could sit down and have a debate about that, but yeah, I think you'd be wrong about that. The answer to everything is not blockchain. I'm just going to say it like that. The answer to everything is not blockchain. I get what you're saying, and it would be helpful at best. Helpful at best, but needs privacy? No. No, not at all. Not at all. What it requires is more security. What it requires is not going to happen for the cloud-based systems. It's not going to happen. I'll say it like that. You're going to get security by implementing your own local solutions. That's what's going to give you security. Nothing else is going to give you some security compared to that. I don't care what contract is signed. Oh, we promise to segment off your... No. You need one slip up. One time, that your data is exposed to their training process. Done. That's it. They can't take it out. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. So you need one slip up. Take it a step beyond that. Is it really a slip up? No. No, it's not a slip up. Was it a slip up when Facebook decided they were just going to use everybody's property? No. Is it a slip up now that, Google saying, well, now we're going to let our AI look into your stuff? This is why I don't use Google. I don't use Gmail. I'm sure all of you people that use Gmail got a notice. This is why I don't use Gmail. This is because you got notice not that long ago, and it would take a good amount of time for you to flip your email to another provider. Everybody knows you're over at Gmail. How many people, how many businesses, how many entities would you have to, reach out to and connect with to say, oh, hey, by the way, I'm over here now. They know this. That's why they didn't give you a lot of time. It's why they didn't give you a lot of time. It would be work, which means that your data, if you're using Gmail, is going to be exposed to their training process for their LLM. Yeah. So security, end user sovereignty, that is bigger than what people think. Hey, Pause, thanks for letting us know that you have invested in yourself. So think about that. It's not about it needs blockchain rails before it makes the adoption curve. It's already at the adoption curve. It's already here. That's not the problem. The problem is security. And it's not security when you have it installed locally. It's security when you're using online services. And everything that you see online that's a service, you could do locally. You could absolutely do locally. You want security? Do that. Need help with that? Call my company. We can help you. But yeah, it's not, blockchain is not the answer in this case. Blockchain, everybody wants to point to blockchain. It's not. Would it be cool? Would it be interesting? Possibly. Would it be helpful? Maybe. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. As a guy who, runs the business, I know firsthand. It's just a fact. It's not a dig on anyone. It's just a fact. So yeah, it nice. Depending on what you're trying to do, sure. But in general use, you don't need blockchain for that. I don't need to introduce another technology to handle that technology for people to adopt it. I need better leadership. All these large companies that want to introduce, AI, a lot of them have people working in the AI space. They don't really get it. They still use things like, AI is thinking about what it's doing. Wow, it's reasoning. It's not reasoning. It's not thinking. It's none of those things. It's performing a mathematical calculation. Period. Just saying. Just saying. But they have everybody hoodwinked using words like reasoning, thinking. No, that's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. And I look at it harder now because I see so many people trying to use AI to help them in the crypto space. Be careful about how you're going to use it in the crypto space. You want to use it to analyze data? Sure. You want to use it to tell you what to buy? Good luck with that. Good luck with that. That's not really what I recommend. What I recommend is have it spit out some reports so you can make the final decision, not go out there, use X42 to make purchases for you and send it. No, 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 no. I don't like that idea at all. You need one mistake. Shopify is a strong company. It's a strong Canadian company. Yeah, I said Canadian. That's right. It's a strong Canadian company. They know what they're doing. They went down today on the busiest day, or second busiest day, or one of the 5 busiest days out of the year. They went down. Goes to show that you can know what you're talking about. You can still go down. AI fits in that space. How many times we heard about AI going down? OpenAI basically got hacked. Oops. Now what? What's the answer? Right? Something else that I've been looking at for a long time. Companies like Polymarket, the predictive networks. Not only were they allowed to come back into the United States, but one of the tiniest little things that nobody was paying attention to is they're also allowed to work with brokerage apps. Meaning that you could open up your brokerage app and instead of seeing market numbers like the Dow or NASDAQ or whatever, you're going to see questions. If there is a brokerage out there that is planning on doing that, I can tell you now, that's a brokerage that I would not be using. Nope. Because you're feeding into the gamification of everything. You ever see that movie Running Man? Everything's a bet. I bet you it's going to rain tomorrow. I bet you it won't. Sounds stupid, but isn't that what Polymarket is? They bet on words that somebody is going to say or not say during their earnings report. Yeah. Like, what? Yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing. And I don't think people should be looking at anything involving investing as a game. Right? I mean, already enough, you're probably gambling a little bit by being in the market. But you can invest in certain things and get a return. You can invest in certain things and be moving in that direction. You can invest in your own business. I don't think investing should be treated as a full-on game. And as soon as you see these brokerage firms pop on and they've got Polymarket or Kalshi or even their own homegrown prediction market, I don't think so. 8 Paws, Hutanix said the same thing earlier in the show that silver is hot today. I don't follow precious metals like at all. I don't. Something new that I would have to learn, and precious metals are, there's more to it than just, silver and gold. And I don't have time to be paying attention to that stuff. So I would rely on you guys to tell me something about it. And I think that there are other things that I'd probably rather be invested in than precious metals. Precious metals, rather. Rare earths. Other metals that people don't realize are used everywhere. Zinc. You eat zinc. People probably looking at me like I'm crazy. You eat zinc. Rockstar Games co-founder Dan Houser warned about generative AI in gaming, citing risks of feedback loops, degrading originality as 90% of developers use AI tools to help code, to help enhance the game. yeah, gonna have to be careful with this stuff. I mean, I've seen scenarios where I could easily see people being in a world and thinking this is a real world just by how they're interacting with other things in the world and lose themselves in it. Because the fuzziness between there and reality, that virtual world and reality, just, I prefer to be there. Telling you that there are certain things that I'm looking at that I'm saying to myself, I can see it coming. And I'm not the only one that sees it coming. Ask a wealthy person how much screen time their kids get. Dark horse in his house, becoming a junior bagger. That's what's up. Thank you. So I just look at that and I just go, whoa. Because they're like, what do you mean screen time? They're reading books, like physical books. Not reading that. We're not worried about that screen time nonsense. That's not a problem that they have. Meanwhile, what are our kids doing? Doom scrolling. What are their parents doing? Sitting right next to them doing the same thing. Doom scrolling. Hottest market right now out there. Vertical short shows. Yep. All the rage. That's what Hollywood is all the rage about. So I'm just wondering, how's that work? Everything is for short-sightedness. Most people don't look at things for longer than 6 seconds. And that's a really long time. 1 minute? You get like 10, 20 seconds and you're considered good. 30 seconds, rock star. A minute? Oh my God. The attention span of people is dropping big time. It's dropping big time. It's not a little thing. I hate when people join up and I can't even give a thumbs up. I can say it, which I did, but I can't like drop a heart on there so people can see it. I don't see any of that. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. But yeah, you look at things and you're kind of like, wow, what's going on? Coinbase stockholders are suing the executives apparently because they made moves, they made insider moves that regular shareholders were not privy to. Oops. Yeah. Everybody makes mistakes. That's the idiocracy. Guess I have invested in myself today. That's what's up. Well, I figured you literally just invested in yourself. So I wasn't going to bust your chops because you literally did it. Zcash's governance debate intensified over token-based voting systems. The price dropping 23% amid broader market declines. Yeah, they took a hit. Remember what I told you about paying attention to the rhythm of a coin? So when you think about this, the market already is pushing everything down, and all of a sudden they got bad news and went down further. Again, understand the rhythm of a coin. Just understand the rhythm of a coin. You'll do a lot better. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. You'll start to figure this part out. You'll start to see it. Right? Because you want to catch the things, the general market's looking up and they have some good news. They'll get that extra spike. They'll get that extra oomph. Just saying, it works like that. Something that blew my mind today, apparently Strategy's stock price traded at a 78% discount relative to its Bitcoin reserves. What? I didn't realize. I mean, I knew that had happened, but I didn't realize the number was like that. So when I look at people and the infrastructure being built out how everything's going on right now, I look at people and I just go, and so what's your problem with MicroStrategy? Huh? Somebody's going to need to explain that to me. Somebody's got to explain that to me. I just don't see it. I just don't see it. Right? And hold it. Oh, okay. That's you. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. So I just look at things a slightly differently. Hutanik, I'd love to understand one day why not. I'm not judging. That's not a judgment. It's why not? What do you know? I like knowing people's opinions about things. Why? Because it's helpful. JP Morgan Silver? Oh, I'm not touching anything JP Morgan either. I'm not touching anything JP Morgan. Nope. I'm good off that. I don't think I'm in on any of the major banks. I'm just not. I've been involved in the industry for a really long time, and I look at that industry and I just go, yeah, no, I'll pass. I'd rather take my chances with fintechs and DeFis and crypto projects and, you know, washing my hair and having nothing to do with it. There are so many other things that I'd rather do than muck around with anything that these banks touch, you know, that they initiate. Just not. Absolutely not. And any place that we've consulted, I make it a habit not to buy that stock. And if I own it before the contract starts, I'll dump that stock. They got caught up with their pants down server downtime today. Yep. I'm just not a fan of JP Morgan. I mean, have they done anything illegal with regard to market manipulation in terms of crypto? I don't believe so. But do I appreciate how Jamie Dimon talks out of one side of his face while his company is doing something else? Yeah, I don't like that. I do not like that at all. At all. And I'm also wondering about, you know, when I see CEOs of certain types of companies that are really big that sell shares, I'm wondering, why are you selling shares? Some people say, oh, well, you know, they're rebalancing their trusts and things like that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know about that. You have to remember, every time these people make moves, they're making moves based on information they have, that they know. Right? That's why they have to report whatever. It's just that by the time they report, and then by the time we hear about it, that happened back there. That happened back there. So they're looking at numbers and reports that give them a lot more runway to see. A lot more runway. I'm more interested in silver in general being bought up by Asia. Silver and gold, by the way. Silver and gold. I have not looked at platinum yet. But that would be another one I would look at if I was playing the precious metals market. But I don't. Number one, I had sat with one of my friends and it was addictive. For me, it was a little addictive because it's very interesting. I wasn't just shrugging it off or writing it off. It's addictive. And I was just like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that. Bitcoin-backed companies need to show Bitcoin at 94,000 K on year end to not show losses. Again, I think you're being too general. I think you're being too general. I think for each company, they have a number that that Bitcoin has to be at for them to maintain being in the black. Like 94 is not Strategy's number. Strategy's number is below that. So That's not the number. For some, it might be the number. For others, it's not the number. Which is something else I try to tell people is don't generalize too much. Don't generalize too much. If you're going to be looking at a company, look at that company. What Hutanik's saying is correct. He's pointing out that some companies have a $94 number, but each company is going to have their own number that they're going to have to look at. Go know that number. And then I would also say, well, know that number and know how much in their treasury they actually have. And is their stock price lower than their holdings? What? That still bugs me out. Still bugs me out. Right? And then Bitcoin traders on Binance bought 6,870 Bitcoin after the price surpassed 91,400. But the asset obviously hit. I think it was 84,570 today. A lot of people got liquidated, by the way. A lot of people got liquidated. So yeah, I don't think anybody was expecting to wake up this morning to the Japanese, carry trade basically taking a dump. December 18th, I think it's 18th or 19th, people are expecting Japan to raise their interest rates. Carry trade, bye-bye. If that happens, carry trade, bye-bye. And then you just had a whole bunch of stuff happen this morning. Just saying, a whole bunch of stuff happened this morning. Did you go over the quiz yet? No, I did not go. Well, I told you what it was. Who is going to start trading crypto-focused ETFs tomorrow? Coinbase, Charles Schwab, Ninja Trader, or other? And if you think it's other, drop it in the comments. Now, only 6 votes. I shouldn't even do it. 6 votes. Are you kidding me? What about the proposal to separate stock companies with over 50% BTC holdings differently? No, I don't agree to that. Why? What's the purpose? I'm not even trying to be funny. What's the purpose of that? Our company made money. We can invest in other things, and we chose to invest in that. Could have just as easily invested in like Carvana or restaurants or whatever, or precious metals. So what? We're going to do the same thing for companies that are holding precious metals? So 112 metric tons of gold, we should put Tether in a different bucket? Because that bucket would be with other countries. It would be with countries. It wouldn't be with everybody else. I see you 8 paws. It would create monopolies, in my opinion. Exactly. Why do you need more differentiation? Run your company as you think it should be run. Let the stockholders do what they do. Problem is, most stockholders don't vote. That's the real problem. Most stockholders actually don't vote. Like, yeah, I own the stock and I don't know these people, and they don't vote. I think that people should vote. I was looking at a reflection in my glass back over there, and it was actually just my chain. Because I was like, who's on my property? Somebody about to get shot. I'm a kid from the Bronx. I'm telling you, kid from the Bronx. But yeah, I don't believe that. How are you going to differentiate them? Why are you going to differentiate them? And does that create another kind of separate market kind of thing going on there? I don't like that. I don't like that idea at all. Are you still bearish for 20? Yes, I'm still bearish for 2026. But you think that was going to change in 24 hours? What's wrong with you, Dark Horse? And I will pay no mind to your last statement whatsoever. Just, are you still bearish for 2026? Yes, I'm very bearish for 2026. I very much am. I saw that Kramer's thinking that there's not going to be a recession next year. And I'm like, yeah, okay, good luck. I'm seeing jobs go away. I'm seeing that whole reset thing, for whatever reason, you're seeing a decline in jobs. When was the last time you heard a jobs report? When was the last time you trusted a jobs report? Jobs added, and Goldman Sachs said, nah, 50,000 lost. I'm telling you that there are bubbles out there that the general public is not paying attention to, or unaware, or otherwise unaware, and it's going to hit. And it's not going to be fun. It's going to hurt. If you're not prepared, it's going to hurt. Do I think it's going to be a global meltdown? I could agree to that. There's only a handful of countries that are actually situated in a good place. Most of the countries are carrying big debt. Big debt. It's just the United States is carrying the most debt. Why do you think these numbnuts want to invade Venezuela? Because they have oil. Why do you think they want to devalue the dollar? Because we have debt. So I'm telling you, there are just too many things that make 2026, at the very least, incredibly volatile in my eyes. I mean, are we officially at war with Venezuela? No, but we're enforcing no-fly zones over their sovereign airspace. What? That's an act of aggression. That's going to affect our bags. It's going to affect our bags. I'm not necessarily, from a bag effect perspective, I'm not necessarily worried about what that move is. I'm worried about what that move says to China, and China decides, okay, we're done with this crap. We're going to take Taiwan back. That has massive global impact. Massive. So yeah. And that's why I'm just wondering, like, what else is going to happen? Now you understand. Do your own research, know your entries and exits, and absolutely invest deliberately. Right? Now you know why I'm in the news all the time. Maybe we're not posting articles all the time, but we're in the news all the time. We really are. Let me see something. Let me refresh this page. Give me a moment. So, like I said, we're punching out articles all the time. We're getting real close to, like, launch. Real close. We were supposed to launch last week, and then holidays hit, and then I was sick, and then Steven was sick. Then his whole family got sick. But we're, like, right there. Like, it's all right there. Let me see. What does that do? What does that do? Damn. This is all XRP. This is all XRP. Right? This will be turned on, and you'll be able to search for what it is you're looking for. But this is the news that we have for XRP, the articles that we've written for XRP. And see how they just keep going, keeps refreshing. Yeah. So we've got a lot of stuff going on. We have the regular feed, the articles, videos, Crypto Tracker. Crypto Tracker is a separate service, but we're probably going to leave it turned on until we finally finish it all off. And then we have the private club Big Baggers. Just saying, we got a lot of stuff going on. Membership has its privileges. You're only going to have access to those articles. You're going to have to become a member. I'm not going to leave it open forever. What else is there? The market is trying to keep the masses from doing the bank run. Vegas, Miami, LA are already seeing home repossessions. Yep, home repos have been there for a long time. Dark Horse, thank you. We're working like extremely hard. And oh man, I'm going to be frank. If I wanted to launch that right now, we could. but there are a couple more things that I want to do before we let it out. Once those things are done, then okay, we'll let it out. Right now, we're not having technological issues or anything else like that. It's Eddie wants certain things done before we put it out there. So you can blame yours truly. You can absolutely blame yours truly. But I think you're going to like what we've got coming. I think you're going to like what we've got coming. But we want to demonstrate to people, hey, there's a reason why you should become a member on the site, because you have access to this. And there's a lot of that you're going to like. The research that's there, the articles that are out there, just stuff. I mean, that's over 12,000 articles, not even including videos and all that good stuff. And we still have a knowledge base that we have to put on there. I mean, there's a lot. Like I said, right now, it's a matter of when, not if. I just have to be satisfied in what we're putting out, and then that'll be it. Then we'll be really out there, and you'll be able to watch the shows on the site. You'll be able to watch the live shows on the site. That's what I really want. And it's not hard. It's not hard. We just embed it and boom, 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 and it's all good. But yeah, that's what we've got going on right now. That's what we've got going on. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. Hope you like what the team is doing, what we're trying to come out with. And if you do, smash the likes. Tell your friends about us. This community is vastly different. One more thing. This weekend is the first weekend of the month. And then the weekend after that is the second weekend of the month. And what do we do on the second weekend? That's right. We have the Big Baggers meeting. And I think that we're going to have a lot to break down and talk about. We'll be talking about AI. We'll be talking about businesses that are out there. We'll be talking, obviously, about crypto. Crypto's, the main point of the show. But investing in general is what we're going to be talking about. I do want to talk about both commercial and retail real estate. Single family homes, that kind of thing. I do want to talk about businesses that are out there that are suffering, because you're starting to walk down the street and see businesses that they might just shutter. Like, they're not hurting. They just have nobody to give the business to. They have nobody to sell the business to. So they could wind up shuttering doors. And so that's something else to think about, because a business shutters doors, that could also mean jobs. And I was thinking about my son's my son's got a small operation. He's got 5 stores. Him and his partner, they have 5 stores, small operation, 40 employees. And I sat there and I thought about that, and I was like, wow, they've got 40 employees. That's not easy. That's not easy to manage. They're doing all right. They're fine. But I started thinking about that, and I was like, wow, that when we talk about small business America, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about these small operations that have got 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 people working for them. Right? And when they go out, what happens to all those people? Exactly. So now you know what I'm thinking about, what's going through my brain right now, my tiny little pea brain. So I expect the next Big Bagger meeting to happen second week of December. And I expect it to be a really good conversation. And all my big baggers, all my regular baggers, everybody who wants to sign up and everything, we have current prices, and obviously those prices are going to change. We'll keep those prices. We'll keep those current prices probably for like 30 days or something like that. As we open up the new site, and then after that, we'll be introducing new prices. And nothing off the chain, but it's costing us a bit of money to keep everything going. Anyway, everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And as always, thank you for your trust. Everybody have a great night, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, 6:30 a.m. for the Crypto Daily. Have a good one, everybody. Bye-bye.